Rocks are dumb. Written by Majin Shiko. Apple Bloom was incredibly bored. She was so bored, in fact, that she was currently counting the various rocks on the apple's apple orchard as she looked out from her window. There was a pile of tiny rocks about 50 yards away. There were various smaller rocks scattered around the farm, which Big Mac would most likely remove. Then there were the larger rocks, impressive in size, that not even Big Mac could remove. Sighing, she looked away from the window and back to her homework. Describe the different kinds of rocks.
What's the big deal? A rock's a rock. Why are there different kinds?
She stared at the homework sheet some more. Describe the different kinds of rocks.
Well, there's pebbles.
She wrote down pebbles.
And there's skipping rocks.
She wrote down skipping rocks.
And there's stones and boulders.
She wrote both of those down as well. She looked over her homework again, somewhat pleased with the result. She put her homework into her backpack. Apple Bloom, it's time for dinner!
I'll be down in a second!
Applejack seemed to have the best timing. Smiling, she trotted downstairs and took a seat at the table where Applejack, Big Macintosh, and Granny Smith were seated. Apple Bloom stared down at the bowl in front of her. It was vegetable stew. She grinned. She liked vegetable stew. She dipped her muzzle in and ate the stew. When she was finished, she pulled up her muzzle.
Hey, Applejack!
Applejack lifted her muzzle out of the stew. What, Apple Bloom?
What kind of different rocks are there?
I don't rightly know. Applejack narrowed her eyes and furrowed her brow. Well, I guess there's pebbles, skipping rocks, stones, and boulders. Apple Bloom smiled.
That's what I thought. May I please be excused?
Yes, you may, Apple Bloom. Thank you for being so polite. Applejack grinned as Apple Bloom excused herself from the table and went outside. She propped herself up against an apple tree and thought. She thought about a lot of things, like life, whether or not she'd get her cutie mark tomorrow, and whether or not snails liked her. She most definitely wasn't thinking about rocks.
I mean, why would they even teach us about rocks? It's not like we're going to suddenly decide to become rock farmers because of the so interesting homework assignment we got in primary school about rocks.
Apple Bloom's musings soon turned into frustrated internal rantings.
On top of that, why do they even teach us half the stuff they teach us? I mean, calculus? Really? The only pony I know that uses calculus on the regular is Twilight, and she's an A-kid. Sure, she may be teaching me cool stuff about potion making, but she's still an A-kid. I will not grow up to be an A-kid. No, sorry. I'll probably get my cutie mark in something apple-related and work in the farm until I grow old and die. Or become an alicorn princess.
Apple Bloom smiled at the thought. A filly could dream, couldn't she? Apple Bloom, wake up! It's time for school! Apple Bloom slowly opened her eyes and focused them to see Applejack, school bag and hoof.
What?
Apple Bloom blinked. Applejack shook her head. You fell asleep outside and we didn't want to wake you.
Oh, okay,
Apple Bloom said as she stood up, grabbed the bag, and slid over herself.
See you after school.
All right, Sugarcube. See you after school. Apple Bloom trotted to the schoolhouse and took her seat, waving to Sweetabelle and Scootaloo as they walked in. When every pony had entered, Cheerilee rapped on the desk.
All right, class.
Do we have a volunteer who wants to read their homework assignment to the class? Apple Bloom raised her head.
I guess I'll go. I'll doubt that any pony here got more answers than I did.
Apple Bloom raised her hoof. Cheerilee scanned the classroom and spotted Apple Bloom's hoof. Ah, yes, Apple Bloom. Would you like to read your homework to the class?
Yes, I would, Miss Shirley,
she said, as she fished into her bag and pulled out her assignment. Apple Bloom cleared her throat.
Well, Miss Shirley, I had determined there are 4 kinds of rocks. Pebbles, skipping rocks, stones, and boulders.
The entire class, along with Cheerilee, stared in shocked silence at Apple Bloom, who was smiling until she gazed around the classroom and noticed the weird glances they were giving her.
What does that say? I determined that there are 4 different kinds of rocks.
Cheerilee buried her face into her hoof. That's exactly wrong. The 3 kinds of rocks are sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic. You'd know that if you were paying attention in class yesterday.
What? And you told us in class, then what the hell was the point of the homework assignment?
Repetition.
Wait, you had us do a homework assignment about what you went over in class just to write down what you said in class?
Yes, Apple Bloom. That's why I assign homework, to see if my students are paying attention in class. Apple Bloom blinked.
Why is it 50% of our grade then?
Cheerilee smiled. Because paying attention is important.
But if I just pay attention in class, then pass all the tests, I'll still fail?
That's exactly right.
That's gotta be the dumbest thing I've ever heard!
What? I didn't expect to hear such sass coming out of your mouth. You're usually such a good student.
You'll have to forgive me. I just woke up.
Tiredness is no excuse for rudeness. Now go sit in a corner.
But the assignment was dumb.
Corner now. Apple Bloom snorted, removed herself from her desk, and put herself in the corner to the chorus of her classmates, giggling.
Books are dumb.